What's up, y'all? One Piece, One Life here, and guys, it's finally time. The days that we've been longing for ever since we found out that the government was hiding things. The days that I've been waiting for ever since we saw the Joy Boy apology poneglyph, because it is finally time to learn about the lore of the Void Century. So get ready to take a deep dive into the ancient world, because this is going to be One Piece chapter review 1115 and 1116. But before we get started, guys, as always, y'all know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this, and share it around with all your friends who love the series. Let's get it going. So 1115, we start off with the cover story, and we see a little moment between Hiyori and Tama, where it seems like Tama might be training to become a Oiran or whatever. But forget about Wano for now, because we need to get to the chapter itself, where we start in Wano. So as we see that they're proudly flying the flag that Luffy gave them at the end of the arc, we see that Momo is telling Kin about how, just like he read in the journal, turns out Joy Boy was a pirate just like Luffy, which is obviously supposed to draw parallels between the two of them. Then right after we check in on Wano, somebody please, for the love of God, tell me why we see Damaro Black. For those of you who do not remember who Damaro Black is, I do not blame you, but he's the fat dude that was trying to impersonate Luffy right after the time skip when they were going back to Sabaody. And you know, it's crazy because I could have sworn that he was dead, if not at least defeated, but I thought he was dead. So not only is he not that, he then found time to go and change into a fit of useless Captain Mid. Now, I've seen a theory saying that this is Oda foreshadowing that Kid is gonna come back because, you know, Kid is following the same plot beats that Luffy is, with being badly defeated and then needing to have a resurgence, but during that resurgence, a fake version of him is around. I don't know, to me this is kind of just Oda confirming to us that he hates Kid just as much as we do, to the point where he's just making him a literal joke. So the message keeps on playing, confirming a lot of what we had thought and bringing together a lot of the information that we had collected over the years. Essentially, Joy Boy was opposed the 20 kingdoms that would eventually become the world government. There was a grand war, and in that war, Joy Boy used advanced technology. And like I said, we do know this, but the fact that we're getting it, Oda is actually, writing it on a page and confirming it to us, really puts you in the mindset of, damn, we are in the final stretch of this story. So cutting around a bit, we see Super Elephant just walking across the sea, not responding as usual. And then on his back, we see the Mink tribe just reacting to whatever's going on. And all I can say is, damn, bring back Carrot, because hashtag not a furry, but I miss Carrot. And then Oda brings back this character, and it just makes me think, Oda, are you just going back in your bag of gag characters and trying to pull out all the stops? Because why do we see Foxy the Silver Fox? Like, Damaro Black was funny, but seeing Foxy just pisses me off. Foxy, get your split head out of here, boy. And I love that idiot is shown getting what he deserves after tricking all those people. Now it's only him, Porsche, and Hamburg, because if you remember from the Long Ring Long Land arc, which again, I don't blame you if you don't, Luffy said, alright, the other 497 of y'all who aren't these three, y'all part of my crew. And then, after they left, get out, I don't want you anymore. So back in the Labo Stratum, we have a conversation between Edison and Stussy, where Edison is just telling her, listen, get out of here. At this point, these guys are invincible. There's no point in you trying to stick this thing through. Just leave. And meanwhile, Jinbei is carrying Zoro, trying to rendezvous back to, the other Straw Hats. Now, guys, the Zoro cope in this scene is crazy, because you got Zoro just saying, what are we apologizing for? We're just doing our job. What the hell do you mean? Your crew was looking for you. Y'all need to leave. And you were stalling Lucci for 6.5 months. But while we're also still in this section, I just want to reiterate that I believe Saturn is a bum. I mean, Saturn is such a bum that he deems it too much effort to beat Nami, Brook, Chopper, and Usopp. But interestingly, back with Susie's talking about I don't have anyone to live for. Now that Stella's gone, I'm and it goes to the themes of the arc where does she have free will? So I don't know. Stussy for Nakama? I guess not, but Grand Fleet? And then we head over to the Nesjuro fight, and all I can say is that horseman is easily clearing the rest of the Gorosei in terms of who is looking the most impressive. Not only does he nearly kill Bonnie, after Vegapunk reveals that Joyboy was defeated, he says, you know what, screw this, jumps up, talks something about, I can sense all their voices, and then slashes the Labostratum in half. For those of you who don't understand how much that is, that's bigger than what Law did at Punk Hazard, and more impressive because this is pure swordsmanship. What Law did was through the use of his fruit. And listen, all I'm gonna say is that Mihawk is on the worst fraud alert of all time. This one thing Nesjuro did is objectively better than anything Mihawk has shown us before or since. Small note about that, since he cut it in half, kind of where the underground was, all of the Seraphim are being dropped down, which means that once they get freed, that's going to be a problem to deal with. But then the biggest reveal of this chapter is that through the continuous use of the Mother Flame to power whatever weapon it was, which we'll know what it was soon, the ancient world was covered in 200 meters of seawater, meaning that literally most of the continents that used to exist were submerged. Now some people may think that this is just crazy coming out of nowhere, but it's crazy to think that it ties into Jinbei's cover story, because we see those ruins at the bottom of the ocean, and everyone's like, well, why are there random ruins at the bottom of the ocean? Well, because it's a relic of an ancient civilization before the water took it over. Side note, I gotta just say, I love Nojiko for what she's doing in this one panel, just because she doesn't care. She, like, the world could be doomed. She cares about Belmare's orchard, and that's just a real one. I don't know what to tell you. So then we cut around just seeing reactions from a bunch of different people. You know, you got the Sakura Kingdom with Dalton and Kureha. The people in Mocktown are just, laughing. We see the Galila shipwrights on Water 7, and then even in Alabasta, where we see who I believe is Marianne, aka Miss Golden Week, which I really should make a video about Miss Golden Week because her powers don't make no sense. Vegapunk then finishes off the chapter with another bombshell, revealing that all of that, everything that happened in the past, it's still ongoing. The ancient war is still ongoing. And what's more, the government used an ancient weapon to cause this mass destruction. I don't know about what everyone else is saying, but to me, this seems to more or less confirm that Uranus is in Imu's hands. Tendrils, weird demon tail things. So in 1116, with Yamato's cover story, we see her getting a gift from Tsuru, Kinemon's wife, and Urashima, the fat wrestler dude from the very beginning of the Wano arc, he's there too. Also, Osome and my goat, but even though he's a rat, Chuji is in the background, and I just know that Oda loves that mouse by the amount of cover stories and art requests that he puts him in. So getting back into it, as the world is reeling from the truth of Vegapunk's message, the bombshell that he's saying, Imu is in the throne room with a blown up picture of what looks like Lily. It could be Vivi, but given the fact that they're supposed to have a connection, I would guess it's Lily. But what just is their connection? We then take a look at Alabasta, where we have Igaram crying because, Vivi is missing. And then, meanwhile, we have Shaka and Will of P. Pell watching Cobra's funeral. And all I can say is, damn, RIP to the legend, because Cobra was actually like one of the greatest kings that there was in One Piece. But while that's happening, Vegapunk is apologizing because he created the Mother Flame to be used for good, to just be a global power supply for everybody. But since part of it was stolen to power the weapon, he's saying that he's at least partially to blame for the destruction of Leloucha. Now just remember this for a bit, because remember that this is the first time that the world is hearing that Leloucha is gone. So we'll get back to that in just a moment. But first, a quick check-in on Stussie's group. So I really, really do like this interaction between Stussy and Kaku and what Stussy tells Edison, all because it plays into the themes of the arc, especially the overarching theme of, free will. How do you have free will? Autonomy, identity. Because you have Stussy, the clone who she herself said, I do not have any free will because I'm a clone, making a choice for herself to save somebody that she considers a friend, even though she had to betray him. That's her own personal choice. And I'm also glad that Kaku is just gonna be able to get out of here, because bro was really just trying to do his mission. Lucci is the one who started being extra, talking about some, oh, you know what, well, too bad for you, I don't consider Shahad an emperor, so I'm gonna go fight him, and then gets his ass low diffed. So then, back with, Vegapunk telling the world about Lelouch being gone, we see reactions from the Revolutionary Army, but also people from Ace's cover story. Because if you remember, Lelouch is the place that the notorious MMM, Moda the Milkmaid, is from. Ace was at Lelouch at some point during his cover story, and then nearby Lelouch is the G2 base, where Ace met up with Bad Coffee Komil. Where I get all these nicknames from for people in this story, I really don't know. Quick summary of this cover story for people who either forgot or have no idea what I'm talking about. During the cover story, Ace was essentially sent to G2 by Triple M to give this letter to Bad Coffee Komil because, she wants to offer her milk to Komil so that they can have good tasting coffee. And during that time, Ace had to cosplay as a Marine. It was a whole thing. We also see the return of another legend, King Elizabello III, the man with a punch strong enough to down a Yonko by Oda's words himself, which we've never seen him do, which is crazy to me, because how are you going to introduce something like that and never follow through on it? But okay. And then his assistant guy, Dogma, and they're just trying to see if what they're saying is true, because I guess they're somewhat close to Lelouch, so he was like, go confirm this, and he was like, yes sir. So then Vegapunk starts talking about the ancient weapons, revealing that, interestingly, it was actually Joy Boy who was the one who was trying to pass down the ancient weapons from generation to generation, which begs the question as to why. And now, while we know that Joy Boy isn't evil, because we know that he embodies, the warrior of liberation, it still makes me think about just what were the circumstances of the war and why Joy Boy felt the need to, pass down the weapons or even use the weapons. And then I love the small fact that we're getting people connected to the weapons reactions. So we see Crocodile because he was going after Pluton, Kin and Momo because, Pluton is under Wano, and then Shirahoshi is obviously Poseidon. Then we see that Tsuru and Sengoku are on a Navy ship, and Sengoku is stress eating so much he's just stuffing his face with crackers. Now this brings up two interesting points for me. One, is he feeling guilty because he somewhat knows at least a bit about this, that there's something more going on? Maybe he doesn't know the specifications, but he knew something was going on, which I don't doubt, because him and Garp were pretty close to Roger and Whitebeard. That whole old era, they may know some things. And two, I made a short about this, but where the hell are they going? Because in chapter 1082, they were at Navy HQ, chilling. So if something made them mobilize, could it have something to do with Garp? And then we get Akainu doing what Akainu does best, which is burn a cigar in frustration but do nothing else. But at least with his words here, he's kind of saying like, Vegapunk, you got to tell the whole truth, which to me is making it seem like he just wants to know the whole truth so that he can make his final decision. Because as we know, him and the Gorosei have been clashing for, since he became a fleet admiral. So this may be the time for him and the Marines to actually split themselves off from the world government. So back on Egghead, we have York confirming that the Vegapunks really can just not sync up their memories, right? And that's what she did. So she's confused as to how Stella figured all this out, especially drawing attention to the fact that, it doesn't make any sense timeline-wise, because he figured all this out before any of the evidence actually came to light. She then figures out and tells the elders and us that the Iron G is the one protecting the snail, which now it makes sense when you think back to the first time that we saw Vegapunk. He was stuck in phasing halfway through the Iron G, meaning he was at some point inside the Iron G, which I guess was to set the snail up. Hey, all I'm saying is, from what it sounds like, everything on Egghead right now seems to be like a plot from Vegapunk, which is exactly what my theory here states. Watch it after this video, I'm sure you'll love it. He finishes up by telling everyone that it's the Roger pirates who know the truth. And everyone is just like, damn, really? It's some dirty pirates who know the truth that our government, our elected officials, are trying to cover up. And then we end by seeing Crocus and Laboon on the Twin Capes. Crocus is just looking just dead ahead, somber. And then meanwhile on Sabaody, while Shaki just off-screen the pirate captain, meaning I guess she can still fight, you have Rayleigh just drunk out of his mind, just saying, I don't know why this old fools keep blabbering you gotta let new generation figure this stuff out for themselves, which to me is kind of signaling that Oda is kind of trying to wrap up the information that we're gonna learn from Vegapunk's broadcast, which makes sense, because we are assuming that the majority of the information we're going to learn when Robin finally reads the real Poneglyph, because, that's her dream. But yeah, guys, that's what we have. 11:15 and 11:16 were some lore-heavy chapters. We got some questions answered and some lore confirmed, and we got even more questions to ask now. But what was your favorite part about these 2 chapters? Make sure to let me know that in the comments. Now that's the end of the video, y'all, but please guys, before y'all go, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week, and share it around with all your friends who love the series. Remember, I'm trying to build a community, but I need your help to do it. Well, that's gonna be all from me. I'll catch y'all on the next one. And always remember, One Piece, one life. I told y'all, I said it's a bit bland back here, so I need to put some stuff up. And I did. Is it as much as I would have liked? No, but we do what we can with what we have. A real Abbott Elementary